Welcome back, Passionate Living community. This week, I have a special episode for you about my book, Passionate Living Through Passive Investing. I've started recording the audio segments in my home studio, and next I'm going to send them to a sound engineer who will mix and master the recording to improve the audio quality and then supply me with the ACX files that I will upload to Audible. Yes, we're going to have an Audible audiobook very soon. Now, for those of you who haven't had the opportunity to read my book yet, I'm going to play you a short trailer to give you the gist of what the book is about. And then I'm going to read you a sample from the first chapter. So let's start with the trailer. Well, there it is. And I hope you appreciated that trailer. I put that together because I wanted to reach as many people as I possibly could. So if you haven't checked it out yet, please go check it out on Amazon. And for those of you who are eager for the audiobook version, I know I read a lot more books in audio than I do in print. Here goes. Introduction. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Lao Tzu. I'm predicting that this isn't the first book on finance and passive investing you've picked up. Am I right? Call me crazy, but as an award-winning data scientist, I make predictions for a living. By now, you've probably heard the mantra time and time again. Build enough passive income to cover your bills, retire early, and only then fully live the dream. Well, I'm not going to bore you with a conventional approach of focusing on building your financial empire while putting your quality of life on the back burner. Instead of focusing on the freedom number, which is the passive income needed to cover expenses and retire, I'm going to focus here instead on maximizing your freedom quotient, the percentage of time you spend on activities that ignite your passion. By nurturing this passion, we create a virtuous cycle whereby increased passive income fuels greater fulfillment, naturally leading to financial independence over time. We're about to unveil a novel approach prioritizing passion and fulfillment from the outset, guiding you to grow your passive income alongside a more prosperous, more fulfilling life. Unlike the elusive freedom number, which can fluctuate as the price tag on your life and dreams change, your freedom quotient remains constant. It's about finding enduring happiness in a life aligned with your truest core values, a life we'll build together step by step. Are you ready to explore your freedom quotient? Now I think I'll skip ahead, or better yet, maybe why don't we I'll just stop there, but I'll give you an idea of what else we're going to learn. That's just the introduction to give you an idea that it's not just a financial book. This is about making sure it's not just a financial book. This is about making sure that you are really living the life of your dreams. So after the first chapter of the introduction, I described to you how I built my runway to financial freedom. Now, this is what worked for me. I'm not going to pretend it's the only way to do it, but I know that when you do read a book, you want to know, is the person an expert? How did they do it? What's special about their approach? You're going to learn that in the second chapter. Then I talk about living the dream, sort of where I'm at now. This more or less ideal state. Of course, there's never an ideal state. There's always more in life. Then I back up a little bit and we ask the question, how can you get there? And I call that chapter Dream, Believe, Achieve. You got to dream it, but before that dream has any relevance to you, you got to believe it. So how are we going to set up a plan step by step that makes you believe that you are actually going to reach those goals? Next we dig into your passive income. Next we dig into your passive income playbook, a world of opportunity. This is where I go through the entire passive income landscape. We go all through private markets, private equity, private debt. And I'm not one of those people who's going to tell you, hey, I've made money in multifamily. I've made money as a syndicator. You got to do the exact same thing. No, I want you to chart your own course. And we talk about how to find the right passive income opportunity. For a lot of you, this might be the first time. Or if you've invested in industrial or triple net or something else, maybe you've invested in early stage companies and you're trying a different asset class. This is where I walk you through what it's like to actually invest in all these various asset classes. And I have. I've invested in just about everything from traditional private equity, syndications, both my own as well as syndications run by others. I've invested all types of commercial real estate, early stage companies. I'll walk you through it. So even if you're already an expert, perhaps I hope you'll find some things in this chapter that are valuable to you as you walk through other types of private equity. And now the truth about passive investing, it's not as easy as it seems. Oh, anybody who tells you that it's easy, oh, they're crazy. Even if you're investing in stocks, never just say, I just invest in stocks. If you're investing in stocks, you should be reading financial statements every day. That's a job unto itself. Whatever you're investing in passively, make sure that you are treating it like the job it is. Peter Lynch said, most people will actually spend more time on the purchase of an appliance than they will a stock purchase, which of course, in most cases, you're putting 10, 20, 50 times as much money into that stock as you are into that appliance. In other words, it's just nuts. If you haven't heard of Peter Lynch, read One Up on Wall Street. Great book. He ran the Magellan Fund. Man who really knows what he's talking about. And it's so sadly true. So make sure you're really putting in the hours because this is your future. Next, we go through my step-by-step plan for getting you there, building your active lifestyle one brick at a time. So for those of you who feel like, I just don't know how to get there, this is how to do it. And for those of you who have already done it or who are doing it, well, this is my approach to doing it. And I want to make sure that we're not just building wealth, but that you're building an active life, a life that you can be proud of, that if you died tomorrow, that you'd be happy because you lived your life as free as a bird. No regrets. Next, we talk about the Zen of passive investing. So many books, they'll say the Zen of this or the Zen of that, but do they really teach you anything about that topic? Or probably they teach you even less about Zen. So I thought, well, like Charlie Munger says, take an idea and take it seriously. So if we're going to talk about the Zen of passive investing, well, I want to make sure that you exit this chapter knowing a little bit about Zen Buddhism and hopefully enriching your life along the way. Process. Next, we talk about investing in yourself, the ultimate key to financial freedom. Benjamin Franklin said that the investment that you make in yourself, that's the best, that's the finest investment. And I think he's 100% true. So make sure you are investing in yourself. It's not just about building wealth. It's not just about building a fabulous, active lifestyle. Make sure you're growing every day. Grow professionally as well. And throughout this, we really focus on making qualitative improvements. A lot of people say, hey, just get 1% better each day, and that's great. But I don't think you can just get 1% better. Here we're talking about qualitative improvements. If you could just quantitatively improve 1% each day, well, that's great. But I think you've got to look for quantum leaps. For example, I wanted to become a better communicator. Now, did I just speak 1% more clearly each day? No, of course not. I became a Toastmaster. I actually became an award-winning Toastmaster after some time. I started a podcast and a YouTube channel. And all this forced me to speak both in a very planned manner as well as off the cuff. I also have several meetups that I've hosted over the years. And I also have a weekly meetup on Zoom that also gets me in front of people. Now, all of this off-the-cuff speaking has helped me tremendously. So was I able to just get 1% better every day? No. I went for qualitative improvements. And I think that that's what you need to do too. Get yourself out of that comfort zone and hey, biggest improvement in my speaking was probably simply deciding to become a Toastmaster. Then I decided that I was going to go into the Toastmaster leadership. And that meant that I had to speak at every meeting because since I was a sergeant at arms, I had to speak at every meeting. I had to be there. And that forced consistency upon me. Every one of those decisions was huge in terms of helping me to become a better speaker. So, whatever your goal is, whether you want to become a better public speaker or you just want to learn to earn more money, maybe you want to experience a new asset class, look for those quantum leaps. And I don't want to trash anyone else's idea. I think the idea of getting 1% better each day is good, but don't stop there. Don't just look for those quantitative improvements. They're good. I really don't think they're going to get there. I want you to focus on qualitative improvements. Okay, then next we talk about the lifestyle creep trap. Avoid sabotaging your success. And I know this full well. I've grown in my career, I've grown my passive income, and every time you do that, there's this tendency to say, hey, let's remodel this room of the house, or let's go on this great big vacation. And hey, that might be the right decision for you. But remember that every time you do that, you do put that financial freedom one step further back. That freedom number, it's going to change. And let's be honest, if you're doing it right, it's probably going to grow throughout your life, because you're not going to want to live a lifestyle of champagne and caviar while you're working and then retire on passive income and eat dog food. That's just not human nature. So realize that everything that you do for yourself at 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, you're going to have a hard time telling yourself no later on in life. So think carefully about these improvements to your life. In other words, does it really improve your life? And I take a real heart here. I go through my purchases, and I remember writing this chapter, and I was sitting at a park, and my son, he was out playing by the pond, and we were about to go to an indoor theme park. The park was free, and the theme park is just $19.99 a month. The best experiences in life are like that. Those experiences with your children, with your loved ones, whether you're married, you have boyfriend, girlfriend, those times, that's really what matters. And if you're really with the right person, you can be at a hole-in-the-wall bar or a restaurant. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't really impact the quality of time that much. So when I do purchase something, I ask myself, did it really improve my life? Go through your closet today. So you probably have a whole bunch of things you purchased. They cost a lot of money. You maybe used it once or twice, and then it gathers dust. So realize you're not as good at judging the purchase and the value of that purchase, and I mean the true value to your life, as you think you are. Garage, I live in Michigan, so it's great. We have a low water table. We can have a basement. So I've got a basement too, and I don't like to throw things out. So when I go through that, it's painful. And I think, wow, I got to find a place for this. I thought this was going to be an important part of my life. And you know what? It wasn't. Well, realize that most of your purchases will gather dust. Think carefully before you buy something. All right. Now we talk about preparing for the permanent vacation. And this is one of my favorite things, because I'll keep it real, audience. Or I like to call you the passionate living community, because I really hope you're out there living your dream life. My wife and I are going through growing pains now. I decided I want to learn Argentine tango, and it became a huge part of my life. And my wife is saying, hey, what about me? And I said, look, you can pick anything in the world you want to do. Wife, I will support you. So what am I really talking about here? I'm talking about what it's like to retire, or at least in my case, it's a semi-retirement. I'm probably almost as busy as I've ever been. I'm busy all the time. I'm working, even when I feel like I've had an easy week, 50 hours, right? But it's still different to my wife, because for me, that's a semi-retirement. Well, today we're going to go to our first private tango lesson together. And this is a huge milestone for us. So, hey, if you can't beat them, join them. My wife is now joining me on that journey, and I told her she can do whatever she wants with her life. Now, wouldn't you rather have these conversations in your 50s than in your 60s or 70s, when you're even more set in your ways, and one of you retires or semi-retires, and it completely changes the dynamic of your relationship? Far better to do that now in a trial retirement than wait until you're later in life. So I would say just go for it. The more passive income you have, the more likely you are to have these trial retirements. You're going to test it out, and you're going to have a lot of experience by the time you actually go cold turkey and say, hey, I'm not going to work a 9-to-5 anymore. I'm done. I'm shutting down my businesses. I'm either going to shut them down, sell them, whatever. Well, anyway, Look, I've only gotten about three-quarters through the chapters of the book. I just wanted to give you an idea of what the book was about. So hopefully some of you will be inspired to go out there and buy it. And right now it's still just $2.99. $2.99 for the Kindle version. If you got Kindle Unlimited, you can actually read that for free. For those of you waiting for the audiobook version, like I said, it's coming. Biggest step. And like I said, the quote I start the book with, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I took that single step to start recording last week. I can't tell you exactly how long it'll take, but definitely we are getting much closer than we ever have been. We're going to have that audiobook out soon. I'll keep you posted. Hopefully you get the opportunity to get this book in your hands. I hope it changes your life as much by reading it as it changed my life by writing it. But most of all, I want to thank you for sticking with me. It's been busy, busy, busy. Again, I don't have a guest to put on the air this week. And next week, I'm going to be going out on a very, very special podcast, biggest commercial real estate podcast in the business. And I'm going to keep the identity a secret, of course, but you'll know when that drops. I will let you know on this podcast venue, but it's got to be recorded in person. So I'm going to be busy for the next week. Busy, busy, busy. But I'll make sure that every week we've got great material to put out there. Thank you for sticking with us, and we will have some great guests, some of the brightest minds in real estate. I'd like to tease you with who it's going to be, but let's just say that we've got one of the brightest, most technical minds coming on the podcast, just booked. Hopefully that'll drop in a few weeks. So thank you all, passionate living community, passionate investing community. Keep doing what you're doing. And if you're out there and you haven't made your first investment yet, keep up the faith. If you're one or two or three investments in and you feel like, I feel like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's hard work. Yes, trust me, it is. Whoever said it wasn't is a fake guru. Keep at it. I want to see you win. Just don't give up. Don't give up. Build that passive income. Build that dream life. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to go. My wife is about to have her first private lesson in tango. And by the way, with one of the greatest instructors in our country, 2023 Argentine Tango USA champion. And if I know anything, and by the way, I say I do make predictions for a living, I think that he'll be competing this coming year again, and I think he'll be our 2025 champion. So very, very blessed to have the opportunity to learn from such a great maestro. So thank you, maestro. And thank you to my wife for helping me live my dreams. Thank you, community, for being part of the journey. And we'll catch you on the flip side.